Do you want to successfully complete the WGU D487 Objective Assessment for Secure Software Designing course? Then, you're in the right place. Our website provides a list of questions and answers, with an emphasis on preparing for your success in the Secure Software Designing D487 course. In this video, we will cover questions from software, security, vulnerability remediation, security practices, security, lifecycle, and risk management. So, let's get started. 1. During penetration testing, an analyst discovered a DOM-based cross-site scripting vulnerability within the application's search bar that could allow an attacker to insert malicious code. How should the organization remediate this vulnerability? A. Enforce encoding of special characters. B. Ensure all data is encrypted in transit. C. Ensure audit trails exist for all sensitive transactions. D. Follow the principle of least privilege for user and system accounts. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. A. Enforce encoding of special characters. Explanation. Enforcing encoding of special characters is crucial to prevent cross-site scripting attacks by ensuring that any user input is properly sanitized and not executed as code. The other options, while important for security, do not specifically address the issue of XSS vulnerabilities. 2. Application credentials are stored in the database using simple hashes to store passwords. An undiscovered credential recovery flaw allowed a security analyst to download the database and expose passwords using their GPU to crack the simple encryption. How should the organization remediate this vulnerability? A. Enforce the use of strong salted hashing functions when storing passwords. B. Enforce strong password complexity standards. C. Enforce regular password updates. D. Enforce encryption on credentials in transit. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. A. Enforce the use of strong salted hashing functions when storing passwords. Explanation. Using strong salted hashing functions significantly enhances security by making it more difficult for attackers to crack passwords, even if they gain access to the hashed data. The other options do not address the fundamental issue of weak password hashing. 3. During functional testing, a QA analyst using a non-admin account caused an application exception. After the exception was handled, the tester was able to navigate to the admin section of the application by typing the URL directly into the browser address bar. They were unable to force the same navigation before the exception was thrown. How should the organization remediate this vulnerability? A. Ensure user privileges are restored to the appropriate level after exceptions. B. Ensure exceptions are handled in a centralized, structured way. C. Ensure error messages are scrubbed of any sensitive information. D. Ensure there is an audit log for all sensitive transactions. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. A. Ensure user privileges are restored to the appropriate level after exceptions. Explanation. Restoring user privileges after an exception ensures that users cannot gain unauthorized access to restricted areas of the application. The other options, while important for security and error management, do not directly address privilege escalation due to exceptions. 4. The product security incident response team determined a reported vulnerability was credible and of a high enough severity that it needs to be fixed. What is the response team's next step? A. Identify resources and schedule the fix. B. Identify the team that owns the product. C. Notify customers that the fix is available. D. Determine how the reporter was able to create the vulnerability. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. A. Identify resources and schedule the fix. Explanation. Identifying resources and scheduling the fix is essential for timely remediation of the vulnerability. The other options may follow, but immediate action is necessary to address the security issue. 5. Organizational leadership is considering buying a competitor and has asked the software security team to develop a plan to ensure the competitor's point-of-sale system complies with organizational policies. Which post-release deliverable is being described? A. Security strategy for M&A products. B. Post-release certifications. C. Security strategy for legacy code. D. Third-party security review. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. A. Security strategy for M&A products. Explanation. A security strategy for M&A products outlines how to ensure that newly acquired systems, such as a competitor's point-of-sale system, align with existing organizational policies and standards. 6. The software security team has been tasked with identifying who will be involved when security vulnerabilities are reported from external entities. They are creating a 𝗬𝐸ci matrix that will identify stakeholders by who is responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed of any new vulnerabilities. Which post-release deliverable is being described? A. External vulnerability disclosure response process. B. Third-party security review. C. Security strategy for legacy code. D. Post-release certifications. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. A. External vulnerability disclosure response process. Explanation. The external vulnerability disclosure response process defines how the organization responds to vulnerabilities reported by external sources, ensuring accountability and communication through a 𝗬𝐸ci matrix. 7. After determining a reported vulnerability was a credible claim, the product security incident response team worked with development teams to create and test a patch. The patch is scheduled to be released at the end of the month. What is the response team's next step? A. Notify customers that the fix is available. B. Publish the reasons for closing the case. C. Notify the reporter that the case is going to be closed. D. Identify the team that owns the product. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. A. Notify customers that the fix is available. Explanation. Notifying customers about the availability of the fix is crucial to maintain transparency and trust, allowing them to implement necessary updates for their systems. 8. The final security review determined that all security issues identified in testing have been resolved and all SDL requirements have been met. What is the result of the final security review? A. Passed. B. Passed with exceptions. C. Not passed and requires escalation. D. Not passed but does not require escalation. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. A. Passed. Explanation. A passed result indicates that all security issues have been addressed satisfactorily, and all necessary requirements have been fulfilled for the software development lifecycle, SDL. 9. The security team is reviewing all threat models, identified vulnerabilities, and documented requirements. They are also performing static and dynamic analysis on the software product to determine if it is ready for release. Which activity of the SHIP SDL phase is being performed? A. Final security review. B. Penetration testing. C. Vulnerability scan. D. Final privacy review. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. A. Final security review. Explanation. The final security review encompasses a comprehensive evaluation of security aspects, including threat models and analysis, to confirm readiness for release. 10. The security team is reviewing whether new security requirements, based on identified threats or changes to organizational guidelines can be implemented prior to releasing the new product. Which activity of the SHIP SDL phase is being performed? A. Policy compliance analysis. B. Penetration testing. C. Final privacy review. D. Open source licensing review. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. A. Policy compliance analysis. Explanation. Policy compliance analysis ensures that all security requirements align with current threats and organizational guidelines before the product's release. 11. The organization is moving from a waterfall to an agile software development methodology, so the software security group must adapt the security development lifecycle as well. They have decided to break out security requirements and deliverables to fit better in the iterative lifecycle by defining every sprint requirements, one-time requirements, bucket requirements, and final security review requirements. Which type of requirement states that all user input values must be validated by type, size, and range? A. Every sprint requirement. B. Bucket requirement. C. One-time requirement. D. Final security review requirement. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. A. Every sprint requirement. Explanation. Every sprint requirements are designed to be integrated into each iteration, including essential validations like user input checks to ensure security throughout the development process. 12. The software security group is conducting a maturity assessment using the Building Security and Maturity model. They are currently focused on reviewing security testing results from recently completed initiatives. Which BSIM domain is being assessed? A. Software security development lifecycle touchpoints. B. Intelligence. C. Governance. D. Deployment. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. A. Software security development lifecycle touchpoints. Explanation. The SSDL touchpoints domain evaluates security practices throughout the development lifecycle, focusing on testing outcomes to enhance overall security maturity. 13. The organization is moving from a waterfall to an agile software development methodology, so the software security group must adapt the security development lifecycle as well. They have decided to break out security requirements and deliverables to fit better in the iterative lifecycle by defining every sprint requirements, one-time requirements, bucket requirements, and final security review requirements. Which type of requirement states that the team must perform remote procedure call? Fuzz testing. A. Bucket requirement. B. One-time requirement. C. Every sprint requirement. D. Final security review requirement. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. A. Bucket requirement. Explanation. Bucket requirements are typically one-time requirements that encompass specific testing methods, like RPC fuzz testing, which may not occur in every sprint, but are critical for overall security assessment. 14. An organization is assessing its security posture and finds that many employees are unaware of their responsibilities regarding data protection. Which strategy should be implemented to improve security awareness? A. Increased monitoring of employee activities. B. Regular security training sessions. C. Implementation of stricter access controls. D. Use of automated data protection tools. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Regular security training sessions. Explanation. Regular security training sessions educate employees on their responsibilities regarding data protection, thereby increasing overall awareness and compliance, unlike the other options, which do not address awareness directly. 15. A development team has been implementing features rapidly without considering security implications. What should the security team recommend to ensure that security is integrated into the development process? A. Conduct a security audit after the product is released. B. Integrate security practices into the continuous integration/continuous deployment pipeline. C. Wait for user feedback before addressing security issues. D. Increase the budget for security tools. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Integrate security practices into the continuous integration/continuous deployment pipeline. Explanation. Integrating security practices into the CI/CD pipeline ensures that security is considered throughout the development lifecycle rather than as an afterthought, addressing vulnerabilities proactively. 16. A company's web application was found to have multiple vulnerabilities during a routine security assessment. Which of the following approaches should the security team prioritize to mitigate these vulnerabilities? A. Increase the frequency of security assessments. B. Implement security patches and updates promptly. C. Educate developers about secure coding practices. D. Review the application architecture for weaknesses. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Implement security patches and updates promptly. Explanation. Prompt implementation of security patches directly addresses identified vulnerabilities, reducing the risk of exploitation. The other options are important, but do not provide immediate mitigation. 17. During a security review, it was discovered that an application does not properly validate a user input, leading to potential SQL injection vulnerabilities. What is the most effective remediation strategy? A. Increase logging and monitoring of database queries. B. Implement parameterized queries and prepared statements. C. Regularly change database credentials. D. Conduct user training on secure input practices. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Implement parameterized queries and prepared statements. Explanation. Parameterized queries and prepared statements are effective techniques to prevent 𝗧𝗏 injection by ensuring that user input is treated as data, not executable code. The other options do not directly mitigate the vulnerability. 18. A company is experiencing repeated incidents of phishing attacks targeting its employees. What proactive measure should the security team implement to combat this issue? A. Block access to known malicious sites. B. Provide regular employee training on identifying phishing attempts. C. Monitor email traffic for suspicious patterns. D. Install advanced spam filtering tools. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Provide regular employee training on identifying phishing attempts. Explanation. Training employees on recognizing phishing attempts is a proactive approach that empowers them to identify and avoid such attacks, while the other measures are reactive and may not prevent future incidents. 19. An organization plans to implement a new cloud-based service, but is concerned about data security. Which of the following factors should be prioritized when selecting a cloud service provider? A. The provider's market share. B. The provider's data encryption practices. C. The provider's customer service reputation. D. The provider's compliance with industry regulations. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. The provider's data encryption practices. Explanation. Prioritizing the provider's data encryption practices ensures that sensitive data is protected both in transit and at rest, which is critical for maintaining data security in a cloud environment. 20. A software development team is using an open-source library that has not been updated in over 2 years. What is the primary risk associated with this decision? A. The library may not be compatible with the latest software versions. B. The library may contain unpatched security vulnerabilities. C. The library's performance may degrade over time. D. The library may lack user documentation. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. The library may contain unpatched security vulnerabilities. Explanation. An outdated library is at risk of containing known vulnerabilities that have not been addressed, posing a significant security risk. Compatibility and performance may also be concerns, but the security risk is paramount. 21. An organization has implemented multi-factor authentication for all employees. However, there have been reports of employees being locked out of their accounts due to lost authentication devices. What is the best approach to mitigate this issue? A. Disable MFA for employees who frequently lose devices. B. Provide backup authentication methods. C. Increase the number of allowed login attempts. D. Conduct training on proper device management. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Provide backup authentication methods. Explanation. Providing backup authentication methods, such as recovery codes or backup tokens, allows employees to regain access without compromising security while avoiding the drawbacks of disabling MFA. 22. A security analyst has discovered that sensitive data is being transmitted in plain text over the network. What is the most effective immediate action to address this issue? A. Increase network monitoring. B. Implement encryption protocols for data in transit. C. Restrict access to sensitive data. D. Notify users of the security risk. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. Implement encryption protocols for data in transit. Explanation. Implementing encryption protocols is the most effective immediate action to protect sensitive data from being intercepted during transmission, while the other options do not address the fundamental issue. 23. During a security audit, it was found that access controls for a sensitive database were not properly enforced. What remediation action should the organization take first? A. Increase the frequency of audits. B. Implement stricter access controls immediately. C. Train employees on data handling procedures. D. Review all user permissions. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. Implement stricter access controls immediately. Explanation. Implementing stricter access controls immediately addresses the risk of unauthorized access to sensitive data, which should be the priority in response to such findings. 24. A company has decided to implement a bring-your-own-device policy for employees. What is the most critical security measure to include in this policy? A. Restrict the types of devices employees can use. B. Require employees to install antivirus software. C. Implement mobile device management solutions. D. Limit the use of personal devices to company email only. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. C. Implement mobile device management solutions. Explanation. MDM solutions provide the necessary controls to secure and manage personal devices used for work, including the ability to enforce security policies and remotely wipe data if necessary. 25. A developer has been tasked with implementing an authentication feature for a web application. Which of the following practices should the developer prioritize to ensure secure authentication? A. Allow users to choose their own passwords. B. Store passwords in plain text for easy access. C. Implement account lockout mechanisms after multiple failed attempts. D. Use a single-factor authentication method for convenience. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. C. Implement account lockout mechanisms after multiple failed attempts. Explanation. Implementing account lockout mechanisms helps prevent brute force attacks by locking accounts after a set number of failed login attempts, enhancing security compared to the other options. 26. A company is implementing a new data backup strategy. What is the best practice to ensure data integrity during backups? A. Backup data once a week. B. Perform regular integrity checks on backups. C. Store all backups in a single location. D. Use compression to save space on backup media. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Perform regular integrity checks on backups. Explanation. Regular integrity checks on backups ensure that the data is accurate and usable when needed, which is essential for effective data recovery. 27. A security team has discovered that an application has not been properly patched, leading to vulnerabilities being exposed. What is the best strategy to prevent this in the future? A. Increase the number of security assessments performed. B. Implement a patch management process. C. Rely on third-party security tools for detection. D. Train developers on security best practices. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. Implement a patch management process. Explanation. A structured patch management process ensures that all applications are regularly updated and patched, significantly reducing the risk of vulnerabilities. 28. An organization is experiencing data breaches due to insider threats. Which of the following practices should be prioritized to mitigate this risk? A. Conduct background checks on employees. B. Implement strict data access controls and monitoring. C. Increase the number of employees. D. Use complex passwords. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Implement strict data access controls and monitoring. Explanation. Strict data access controls and monitoring can help identify and prevent insider threats by restricting access to sensitive information and tracking user activity. 29. During a security review, it was identified that an application lacks proper logging and monitoring mechanisms. What should the organization do to address this? A. Increase employee awareness of security policies. B. Implement centralized logging and monitoring solutions. C. Conduct regular security audits. D. Improve user access controls. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Implement centralized logging and monitoring solutions. Explanation. Centralized logging and monitoring solutions provide real-time visibility into security events, enabling quick detection and response to potential threats. 30. A company wants to ensure that sensitive information shared with third-party vendors is protected. What is the best practice for managing this risk? A. Require vendors to sign non-disclosure agreements. B. Encrypt sensitive information before sharing. C. Limit the amount of sensitive information shared. D. Conduct background checks on vendor employees. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Encrypt sensitive information before sharing. Explanation. Encrypting sensitive information ensures that even if data is intercepted during sharing, it remains protected and unreadable to unauthorized parties. Struggling with your WGU exams? We've all been there. Welcome to OAExams.com, your ultimate resource for WGU success. Find over 15,000 plus questions and answers. Join our thriving community of over 10,000 active WGU students and an impressive 100% success rate with our premium exam support. Visit OAExams.com today and take the first step toward guaranteed success. 31. A new employee reports that they are unable to access certain resources needed for their job. Upon investigation, it is discovered that the employee's access permissions have not been. What do you think is the answer? Set up correctly. What is the best course of action to prevent this issue in the future? A. Conduct regular access audits. B. Implement an automated access management system. C. Provide additional training to new employees. D. Increase the number of IT staff. Correct answer. B. Implement an automated access management system. Explanation. An automated access management system streamlines the process of granting and managing access permissions, reducing the likelihood of human error. 32. A company is evaluating different security frameworks to adopt. Which framework is known for its focus on risk management and continuous improvement? A. NIST Cybersecurity Framework. B. ISO IEC 27001. C. 𝗂𝗏𝗄𝗏. D. CIS controls. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. A. NIST Cybersecurity Framework. Explanation. The NIST Cybersecurity Framework emphasizes a risk management approach and is designed to improve cybersecurity practices over time. 33. A security analyst is reviewing a recently deployed application and discovers that it is vulnerable to cross-site scripting attacks. What is the most effective way to prevent access vulnerabilities? A. Validate user input on the client side. B. Use content security policy. Headers. C. Increase input length limits. D. Restrict access to sensitive pages. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Use content security policy headers. Explanation. Implementing CSP headers is an effective defense against XSS attacks, as it restricts how resources can be loaded and executed in the browser. 34. A security team is evaluating the effectiveness of its incident response plan. What is the most important aspect to assess? A. Frequency of plan updates. B. Training sessions for staff. C. Time taken to respond to incidents. D. Documentation of previous incidents. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. C. Time taken to respond to incidents. Explanation. Assessing the response time to incidents helps identify areas for improvement in the incident response plan, which is critical for effective security management. 35. An organization is implementing a new software application. What is the most critical phase of the software development lifecycle to focus on security? A. Design. B. Testing. C. Implementation. D. Maintenance. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. A. Design. Explanation. Focusing on security during the design phase allows for the identification and integration of security controls early in the development process, reducing vulnerabilities later on. 36. A company is concerned about data breaches due to lost or stolen laptops. What measures should be prioritized to protect sensitive information on these devices? A. Use full disk encryption. B. Implement stricter access controls. C. Increase physical security measures. D. Provide user training on data handling. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. A. Use full disk encryption. Explanation. Full disk encryption ensures that even if a laptop is lost or stolen, the data remains inaccessible to unauthorized users, providing a strong security measure. 37. A company has implemented a new web application, but is concerned about potential security vulnerabilities. What is the most effective way to identify these vulnerabilities before deployment? A. Conduct a security training session for developers. B. Perform a penetration test. C. Increase code reviews. D. Implement logging and monitoring. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Perform a penetration test. Explanation. Performing a penetration test simulates real-world attacks to identify vulnerabilities in the application, providing critical insights before deployment. 38. During a security audit, it was discovered that an habitat application allows users to upload files without proper validation. What type of vulnerability could this lead to? A. Cross-site scripting. B. Remote code execution. C. SQL injection. D. Man-in-the-middle attacks. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Remote code execution. Explanation. Allowing file uploads without proper validation can lead to remote code execution vulnerabilities, where an attacker can upload malicious files that are executed by the server. 39. An organization is evaluating its security posture and decides to conduct a tabletop exercise. What is the primary purpose of this exercise? A. Train employees on security protocols. B. Assess the effectiveness of the incident response plan. C. Review security policies and procedures. D. Test security controls. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Assess the effectiveness of the incident response plan. Explanation. A tabletop exercise is primarily designed to simulate an incident response scenario, allowing organizations to evaluate the effectiveness of their response plans. 40. A company is experiencing frequent phishing attacks. What is the most effective method to reduce the success rate of these attacks? A. Implement stronger email filters. B. Provide phishing awareness training for employees. C. Monitor employee email usage. D. Increase the frequency of security audits. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Provide phishing awareness training for employees. Explanation. Providing phishing awareness. Training equips employees with the knowledge to recognize and report phishing attempts, significantly reducing the likelihood of successful attacks. 41. An organization is concerned about the security of its cloud infrastructure. What is the best practice to ensure the security of cloud services? A. Use strong passwords for cloud accounts. B. Implement identity and access management controls. C. Conduct regular cloud service audits. D. Restrict cloud service usage to specific departments. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. B. Implement identity and access management controls. Explanation. Implementing IAM controls helps manage user access and permissions, ensuring that only authorized users can access cloud resources, which is essential for cloud security. 42. A company is transitioning to a remote work environment. What is the most critical security consideration during this transition? A. Providing employees with new laptops. B. Ensuring secure remote access to company resources. C. Increasing the frequency of security training. D. Implementing a flexible work schedule. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. B. Ensuring secure remote access to company resources. Explanation. Ensuring secure remote access is crucial to protect sensitive information as employees work from home, preventing unauthorized access to company systems. 43. A security analyst discovers that employees are using personal accounts for work-related tasks. What is the best approach to mitigate the risks associated with this behavior? A. Monitor employee personal accounts. B. Prohibit the use of personal accounts entirely. C. Implement a clear policy on acceptable use. D. Conduct training on the risks of using personal accounts. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. C. Implement a clear policy on acceptable use. Explanation. A clear policy on acceptable use sets expectations for employees regarding the use of personal accounts for work tasks, helping to mitigate risks while providing guidelines for compliance. 44. A development team is building a new application. What is the most effective way to ensure secure coding practices are followed? A. Conduct regular code reviews. B. Provide secure coding training for developers. C. Implement automated security scanning tools. D. Increase collaboration with the security team. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. B. Provide secure coding training for developers. Explanation. Providing secure coding training equips developers with the knowledge and skills needed to follow secure coding practices from the outset, which is essential for building secure applications. 45. A company is planning to implement a new data retention policy. What is the most important factor to consider in this policy? A. Compliance with legal and regulatory requirements. B. Cost of data storage. C. Frequency of data access. D. Employee preferences. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. A. Compliance with legal and regulatory requirements. Explanation. Ensuring compliance with legal and regulatory requirements is critical for a data retention policy, as failure to do so can result in legal penalties and other consequences. 46. A company is implementing a security awareness program for its employees. What is the primary goal of this program? A. Reduce security incidents caused by human error. B. Increase the number of security policies. C. Improve compliance with regulations. D. Enhance technical skills of IT staff. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer. A. Reduce security incidents caused by human error. Explanation. The primary goal of a security awareness program is to educate employees on security best practices to minimize the risk of security incidents resulting from human error. 47. A security team is conducting a risk assessment for a new project. What is the first step in this process? A. Identify potential threats and vulnerabilities. B. Determine the impact of identified risks. C. Prioritize risks based on severity. D. Develop a risk mitigation plan. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. A. Identify potential threats and vulnerabilities. Explanation. Identifying potential threats and vulnerabilities is the first step in a risk assessment process, as it provides the foundation for evaluating and prioritizing risks. 48. An organization is reviewing its incident response plan. What is the most important aspect to ensure the plan's effectiveness? A. Regular updates to the plan. B. Training for all employees. C. Clear communication channels. D. Defined roles and responsibilities. Do you know the answer? Correct answer. D. Defined roles and responsibilities. Explanation. Clearly defined roles and responsibilities are crucial for ensuring an effective incident response, as they facilitate coordination and accountability during an incident. 49. A company is facing a rise in ransomware attacks. What proactive measures should be implemented to reduce the risk of such attacks? A. Increase the frequency of backups. B. Provide employee training on recognizing threats. C. Implement email filtering solutions. D. Use network segmentation. What do you think is the answer? Correct answer, B. Provide employee training on recognizing threats. Explanation. Training employees to recognize threats, including phishing and suspicious links, is a proactive measure that can significantly reduce the risk of ransomware attacks, as many attacks are initiated through user actions. 50. A development team is assessing a new third-party library for use in their application. What is the most important factor to consider during this assessment? A. The popularity of the library. B. The library's license agreement. C. The library's security track record. D. The documentation provided. Can you guess the answer? Correct answer. C. The library's security track record. Explanation. Evaluating the library's security track record is crucial to ensure it does not introduce vulnerabilities into the application, outweighing other factors such as popularity or documentation. You've reached the end of our first question set. For the complete exam preparation experience, visit us at OAExams.com, where you'll find thousands more practice questions and comprehensive study guides. Thanks for studying with us today. See you in the next video.